Hi everyone, welcome back to my weekly meal plan. This is an episode each week where I share what my family is going to have for our meals for the upcoming week. I have a blog post that goes along with this meal plan episode on my website at lolasfrugallife.com, and you can find links to any recipes that are mentioned during this episode. The meal plan's just for dinners, and I do rotate meals quite frequently, so it's not always new recipes. There's definitely a lot of repetition over the course of time, but I do try and add in some new stuff when I can or if I have time. So anyway, this comes out every Wednesday and the meal plans start the following Saturday. So this week's meal plan starts Saturday, February 18th, and we're going to be making porcupines, which is from allrecipes.com. Porcupines are kind of like a meatball, but it's made with like rice inside, and then they kind of cook in tomato sauce. So they're really good. I don't know. I came across that recipe at some point. And I guess it's almost kind of similar to like how you would have like the meat, ground beef, and rice in like a stuffed pepper. But these are just kind of cooked on their own. But this particular recipe is made with ground turkey. Obviously, you could make it with ground beef if you wanted to. And they go really well with mashed potatoes. So like you wouldn't think like a meatball with like sauce would go good with mashed potatoes, but it's not really like a regular meatball. Like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but they go really well with mashed potatoes. So we're going to be making Chef John's mashed potatoes with that, which is also from allrecipes.com, and then just like some random frozen vegetables, whatever I happen to have in the fridge. For Sunday, I'm doing 1-pot creamy pesto chicken pasta, which is from budgetbites.com. That's budgetbytes.com. This is one of those like one pan dishes where you kind of cook up chicken and pesto, and there's got cream cheese in it, and then you add like spinach and pasta. I'm obviously not saying any of that in the right order, but anyway, it's just one of those kind of like one pot dishes that winds up having like pesto and chicken and spinach and pasta, and I like to make that once in a while, and it's pretty easy to make. For Monday, we do steak once every 4 weeks, so we're doing ribeye steak this week. I started cooking it in the air fryer now. I used to cook it under the broiler because I have almost set my oven on fire the last several times I've made ribeye steak. I don't know, the fat pops up, hits the flame on the broiler, and if I put it down too low, it doesn't seem to cook right. So I started doing it in the air fryer recently. For the steak, all I do is marinate it in a bag with some olive oil and red wine vinegar and Montreal steak seasoning, and we really like how it comes out like that. And then for a side, I'm going to be doing broccoli pasta side dish, which is from tasteofhome.com. Sorry, I just had to cough because I'm still sick, and I don't know if I had to edit out my cough, so I don't know if you fully heard that. I was trying to say that as a side with the steak, we were making broccoli pasta side dish, which is from tasteofhome.com, and this is just kind of like, it's really simple. It's just like pasta and cooked broccoli with like some garlic and olive oil and butter, and you just kind of mix it all together, and it comes out really good as a side dish, and it goes well with the steak. Tuesday is our Mexican theme night. This Tuesday we're just doing regular tacos. So I don't have a recipe to share for this one. I just cook up some ground turkey and season it with like seasoned salt and some chili powder. And then, we put out like some hard taco shells, some soft taco shells, some shredded cheese, taco sauce, sour cream, avocado, lettuce, tomato, all that kind of stuff. I think everyone knows how to make tacos. For Wednesday is usually our seafood night. As of right now, I'm debating on changing that because my husband really loves seafood, but my kids don't always like all the seafood recipes, so I don't know. I'm trying to find a balance there, but as of now, we're still doing seafood every Wednesday. So this week I'm doing easy shrimp scampi recipe, which is from spendwithpennies.com. And this is just a really simple, like skillet shrimp scampi recipe. I thought it came out really good. I made it, the last time I was going to do like this shrimp scampi that I normally make in the oven. I just didn't feel like making it for some reason. And I looked up a quick recipe and I wound up making this instead. And I really liked how it came out. And then, I'm just serving it with spaghetti on the side, so just kind of like buttered spaghetti with maybe some olive oil mixed in there, and then you kind of just put like the shrimp on top of it, and it was really good. So we're gonna do that for Wednesday. Thursday we always do soup, and sometimes with grilled cheese or just soup on its own depending on the soup, or breakfast for dinner because I go grocery shopping that night. and it's just easier to make something like that for dinner. So this week I am trying a new recipe called, and I'm probably saying this wrong, but it's zuppa toscana, Italian sausage potato soup. And I feel really bad because I don't have my computer in front of me and I can't remember who it was, but she probably wouldn't necessarily want her name shared on the podcast anyway. But one of our Facebook group members had recommended this soup, and it sounded really good to me, so we're gonna try it. It's got like ground sausage and chicken broth and let's see, what else? It's got potatoes in it. It's weird because like when I imported the recipe, it doesn't say potatoes, but obviously it has potatoes in it. So that's so weird. When I imported the recipe into my recipe app, it didn't show potatoes. So I have to go find the recipe, the original one, and update my my recipe app, because it must have obviously skipped an ingredient when I was importing it. But anyway, this soup looks really good, so I'm gonna try that for this week's soup. And then for Friday, this is the last day of our meal plan. I'm doing creamy herbed pork chops, and this one I don't make the creamy sauce. I'm sure it's good, I just have never made it. But what I do make is the pork chop part of it, the beginning part of the recipe, which is where you season pork chops with Montreal steak seasoning, and then you saute them in butter in a skillet. And I think they just come out so good like that. I use the bone-in pork chops. I've also done it with boneless, but for some reason I always have trouble. Like, they always seem to come out a little bit dry. But with the bone-in pork chops, I just really love how those come out just kind of on their own like that. Just very simple. The pork chop seasoned with the Montreal steak seasoning and then sauteed in the butter on the stovetop in a skillet. And that's it. Super simple and easy. And then for sides, I'm just going to be doing, I have like one of those rice boxes, like a rice-a-roni type box in my cabinet that I just noticed it kind of got shoved to the back. So I want to use that up. So I'm going to make that as a side. And then I'm just going to do some more frozen vegetables, like whatever I have in the freezer. So that is it for this week's meal plan. Don't forget, you can find this meal plan and any recipe links on my website at lolasfrugallife.com. I hope this was helpful to you, and I will see you back here next week. So thank you for checking in for this podcast episode. And don't forget, you can always email me with any questions or suggestions at lolasfrugallife@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at lolasfrugallife. And you can find a blog post for most of my episodes and definitely all of my meal plan episodes at lolasfrugallife.com. You can also join our private listeners group at facebook.com/groups/lolasfrugallife. And if you enjoy the show, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen from. And I would love it if you would screenshot the show and tag me on Instagram so I could see you're listening. Also, if you can please take a couple of seconds to rate and review the podcast. Those ratings and reviews are what help the show come up better in search results so that other people can find this podcast. So that will really help me in growing my audience. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.